why did he? Oh, why did he? The mayor of Los Angeles is making her way. And I look cute. How do I flip the camera? She's going to be coming on in just a few minutes. She's supposed to start 2 minutes ago, but they just ended the last panel. So we're waiting for the mayor to come. I'm so excited. I'm a fan. Ah, Black women in politics, shut up. We're live on TikTok. We're live on TikTok. I don't even know if she has a social media following, but I'm making myself her #1 fan. I'm going to try and get her autograph after. But I also know where her office is. Let me flip the camera real quick. How y'all doing out there in these streets? Y'all look cute? Look at all the people. Oh my God. Out to see the mayor. Nobody else is on social media. Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Please welcome Eric Smith, Tracee Ellis Ross, and Mayor Karen Bass to the stage.
Yes. 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 Yes! Yes!
Beautiful day.
It is!
Good afternoon, LA.
Hello! Well, she look good today.
Smith, and I'm a vice chairman here at BMO, and it's a privilege to be here for the Los Angeles Business and Financial Empowerment Summit. At BMO, our mission and our purpose is to boldly grow the good and business and life. And we do that by making sure that we can support our communities and our clients of all different segments, and particularly as our focus has been around supporting Black, Latinx, and women-owned businesses. We're super excited to be here, and I'm really pleased that at the beginning of our session this morning, we were able to show a new partnership that we're launching with a $3 million sponsorship of Thrive Scholars to help promote college possibilities for students from disadvantaged communities. This afternoon, we're here to talk about how we're really striving to do our part to support small businesses. And in partnership with the mayor and the great city of LA, we're excited to now be a part of this community through our acquisition of Bank of the West. And most recently, we launched an initiative that's called BMO Empower, which is a $40 billion commitment to providing increased access to capital to Black, Latinx, and women-owned small businesses, middle market-sized companies. We also brought into that our own supplier diversity initiative, as well as corporate philanthropy. And that's a 5-year commitment that will allow us to demonstrate our commitment to boldly growing the good and business in life. I'm really pleased to be joined today by some outstanding ladies. And I'd first like to start just by congratulating the Honorable Mayor Karen Bass on her historic win.
Yes, girl. Yes, girl. Yes, girl.
Her historic win as the first African-American woman mayor of the great city of
Woo! Yes, girl. Woo! Okay.
And I'm also pleased to be joined by someone that you all may know.
Yes.
Yes.
Nominated, award-winning, acclaimed actress, Tracee Ellis Ross.
Yes, Tracee! Woo! We love you, Tracee!
So for our discussion today, we're going to hear a little bit about the priorities of Mayor Bass and her economic agenda during her first 10 months as mayor. And then we're also going to hear from Tracee about her journey as an entrepreneur. And so I'm going to start by just having you guys
she got
share
the
some
pattern.
remarks and
I
say
need
hello
it.
to our audience. I'll start with Mayor Bass.
Well, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited about us doing this summit, and it's wonderful to look out and see so many friends on this great morning in Los Angeles, and for everything that we talk about in Los Angeles and all of our challenges, it goes back to economics. And to me, what is going to lift up the city is the strength of our private sector. If we want to address the big divide between the rich and the poor, we need our business sector to thrive. And so anything that we can do working in partnership with BMO, it is wonderful to see you, Tracee. I told Tracee the last time we saw each other was on that little box, you know, when we were Zooming, and I was running very hard, and we did a fireside chat just like this, and so it's nice to be on the other side.
It's nice to be on the other side and to you're a person,
Yes.
not in a little box. I was like, oh, it's nice to hug you. Yes, it's an honor to be here sitting with you. I'm so glad that you are our mayor.
Thank you.
Yes!
I gave a little snap with the money that is going to go into this pool of entrepreneurs, of Black women. I am always happy and excited to talk about being a business builder and an entrepreneur and a business leader. It's a new part of my life, but I enjoy it thoroughly, and the growth curve for me and the challenge of learning has been an exciting thing to happen to me at this point in my life and career. And it's a different part of me than people know, and so I'm always happy to talk about it.
Thank you. Well, we're going to get right into it. And part of the reason that we launched our BMO Empower initiative was to be very intentional on addressing the racial wealth gap and doing our very part and making sure that we can help promote a thriving economy that works for all. And here in LA, I'd love for Mayor Bass for you to share a little bit with us about what you're doing currently to support small businesses as part of that effort.
That's right. Well, first of all, it starts with our leadership in our office, and there she is over there, our Deputy Mayor for Business and Economic Development. And you know, throughout my campaign, the great thing about a campaign is that you get to go all over the city and you hear the concerns. And so I met with all of the leading business organizations, and they were very clear. They said, one, City Hall acts like they don't care about business, or they're actually hostile to business. And so I believe, and it's my basic values, the best way to do policy is to work with the people who are directly impacted by policy and ask them what they need. And so we met with business organizations. We did. I did an executive directive, which means I essentially just give an order to the city to pull together the business community as well as all of the city departments that interface with the business community. And we learned a lot. There's a lot of crazy barriers. You have to go through so much to get an application, to get a business license, a lot of bureaucracy. So one of the first things we need to do is deal with that. Do you know that the city does over $4 billion in business with small businesses, in procurement? Do you know a lot of that business goes outside of the state of California? To me, you all need to be the priority for who does business with the city.
Yes! Raise the roof.
One other thing, and I know we'll continue to get into this. I don't really want to invite any of you to do business with the city until the city learns how to pay its bills quicker.
Okay.
That's what we heard. If you do business with the city, you might be waiting 3, 4, or 5 months. So our deputy mayor is leading the effort to make sure that the city can pay its bills on time. Then we'll invite you all in to participate.
Yes, girl.
That's not an easy task, but it is important to make sure that we're providing that opportunity for access to small businesses to be able to have city contracts and to be part of the procurement program. Tracee, would love for you to share with our audience a little bit about your journey as an entrepreneur. We all know you as the amazing actress, but
Yes.
you decided to use your platform and your voice to serve a target community or consumer that was unserved. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, honestly, I was a consumer before I was a well-known actor. And my journey with my hair, I just really noticed that there was a real gap in the market. And before I even thought I could be a business owner or create products or anything like that, I was dreaming of what I wish existed. And looking at how we were marketed to as curly, coily, and tight textures. And I saw a gap in the market. I was a consumer that saw a need. And what a lot of people don't know about my journey is that I wrote my first hair care brand pitch. It took me 10 years. It was right when I finished Girlfriends. So just for those of you that don't know, my company is called Pattern Beauty. We are a hair company, we're a beauty company, and we service the curly, coily, and tight textured community. And our company is centered around the celebration of Black beauty. And I feel it's very specific to me that hair doesn't have a gender or a race, and yet our content is centered around the celebration of Black beauty. Anyone can buy our products, but the content is going to be around the celebration of Black beauty. And I don't believe that Black hair care is a niche market. And so one of my larger missions is really dispelling that myth, doing that with data, experience, etc. But for me, the journey was really about me learning how to articulate my mission and vision for the business, and to make people understand why it was important, why it was needed, and why it would come from me. And that was a 10-year journey, and then I found business partners. But I had already found retail partners, but it was a real journey. And I think the biggest and most difficult part of that was, as somebody who wasn't raised as an entrepreneur or in the business world, learning how to articulate what you want to do in an effective way for people to understand that, and then go from there to build a business.
And Mayor Bass, businesses like Pattern and entrepreneurs like Tracee represent sort of the economic engine and really the heart of a city like LA. But can you talk to some of our participants here today as to some of the specifics for why LA is a business-friendly city, that they should be excited about being here in Los Angeles as an entrepreneur?
Well, one of the things I love about the city, and I know all of you do, is the fact that the entire world is here. You're gonna figure out where you want to go eat tonight, just figure out what country you want to visit. And I think that diversity is really one of our incredible advantages. And so when I was listening to you talking about hair and beauty and it not being a niche market, just think of all the people from all of the different places around the world. You know, it's our population, it's our diversity, it's our level of development here. And then thinking about the future, we have all of these international events coming up. Everybody talks about the Olympics. That's 5 years away. Well, a couple of years away is the World Cup. You know, hopefully there'll be another Super Bowl in the middle after the World Cup. But when we have these big events like this, that's also opportunities for entrepreneurs. But we want to make sure, because what often happens in our community, and both of you know this very well, we don't find out about the opportunities. The opportunities pass us right by because they tend to be an insider's game. Right. But one thing that I want to do is to open that up, make it transparent, and make sure that people know.
I also think there's a real disconnect in understanding how to build a business. You know, you hear dream big, and I'm always like, okay, but then what do you do with the dream? How do you take vision
Let's be
in
practical.
your mind and pull it into now onto a table.
Sure.
And the other part of that is then how do you get the funding? I mean, I know that my limited knowledge as I was a fledgling entrepreneur was you're supposed to use your own money. And if you don't, I mean, I didn't have the money to use. You know what I mean? Like, where are you supposed to get the money? Because to fuel an idea, you need financial support. And Black female entrepreneurs are the largest growing number of entrepreneurs, and yet we are the people who are getting the least amount of money. So what you mentioned at the beginning is incredibly important, because this is an economy and it requires the fertility of funding to be able to fuel an idea. And so mixing those things, and you have to have courage to have an idea, and then you have to be able to articulate that idea, and then you got to get support for it. And I think that's what a lot of what you both are talking about, and that's the connection that has to happen.
And you know, support comes in a variety of different ways. There's obviously the capital that everybody needs, but what I find too is that it's the technical assistance. People have great ideas, like you said, but also the administrative part of that. You know, your finances, your board, depending on what type of organization or business you have. So one of the things that we hope to do in the city is provide that kind of technical assistance as well, so that you will be ready to be eligible for capital. Because you can't just bring the idea. You have to show that you have some administrative chops as well.
And I think that's actually one of the areas around transparency that's incredibly important. And I talk about it a lot. The pipeline is clogged and confused. So people can be given the capital to start a business and then have no idea how to sustain that business, how to maintain it, and how to keep that going. And it does require even having a retail partner. If your business is of that kind, it's a constant dialogue of understanding what is needed to keep you viable in those spaces. And I think a lot of it is asking for help, knowing where to get that help, and making sure that you are seeking out the right support.
Tracee, talk to us about some of the other challenges that you face, because access to capital is obviously very important, but getting the right distribution platform, the right partners established. How did you go about that part of your journey?
Well, I started with what I knew, which was to articulate my idea and to go to the places where I knew people would listen. It didn't work. It was 10 years of no's and a lot of disappointment, but I think it's very important. One of the things I did was I would take in a no, I would take in the hit and the disappointment, and then I would ask myself, did I agree with the no, or was it that I didn't articulate what it was that I was trying to say in an effective manner? And so I would keep adjusting and adjusting. I think some of the roadblocks and the understanding around distribution was I started with the idea and I then clarified. I kept clarifying my vision and the mission. And I really say that to people because you can have an idea, but if people don't understand it, it's not going anywhere. And the words that you use and the language you use to articulate your business or your idea is incredibly important, and that is what will take you the long run. You just need one person to believe in you and hear you, and then you keep building from there. So I started with the idea, and then I ended up, before I knew what to do, I went to retail partners, and every phase of the business had roadblocks. And I just kept my eye on the prize of knowing that there was a gap in the market, a promise that I wanted to deliver on, that I knew I could fill. And I just kept going. And I think some of the roadblocks are around why do we need this when there's so many other things? There's just so many spaces around the no. You just need to articulate each time what it is you're wanting to try and do. I was trying to think of some of the distribution roadblocks we had, but that answers enough of that question. Yeah, I'm in new roadblocks now. I'm thinking of the new roadblocks I'm in, trying to solve for.
As I look around the audience, I see some beautiful consumers that I know are using your product today, and you're clearly in a sector that is growing. But Mayor Bass, I'd love to hear from you. your thoughts about what are some of the growth sectors here in Los Angeles for small businesses that are looking to, launch their initiatives. What's hot in LA?
Well,
What's hot in LA, Mayor Beth?
literally the weather. Seriously, climate change. Climate change is definitely a sector that is pitched to grow. As a matter of fact, yesterday we had a press conference where the state of California was just awarded over $1 billion to change from natural gas to hydrogen. But and that's one thing. But just think of all of the EV stations that are needed. Because LA and California is on the front lines of climate change, there's a ton of businesses related to climate change. And as a matter of fact, the city has a project that is essentially an innovation lab where people can come with their environmental ideas to pitch as businesses, to pitch as nonprofit organizations, for-profit, nonprofit, and will help get you started. But taking advantage of a brand new sector, I was actually in the state legislature when the first major climate bill was passed. I had no idea how many billionaires and millionaires would come from that one piece of legislation. So as we move toward the goal of being a green LA, there's tons of business opportunities there.
That's very helpful. Tracee, I'd like to come back to you because you did a partnership with a really special not-for-profit organization, I believe, when you launched your business that really spoke to women specifically. Can you talk to us a little bit about?
Which are you referring to?
I think it was Buy for Women.
Oh, yes. In general, for my brand, on the label from the beginning, it was very important to me that giving back was a part of the money that we made. That giving back to the community that supported us and that we serve was was built into the fabric of the brand.
Sure.
And so Buy for Black women, but there have been multiple different brands that we've connected to. But that was really Buy from Black women is what it was, yeah. Not for Black women.
Yes.
Wait, I was like, buy for. Yes, you can buy for Black women. You can buy from Black women.
Yes.
And I think, again, as I said, one of the largest growing spaces is Black entrepreneurs, and a lot of focus is not put there. And they also are not in spaces where you know that they exist. And so one of the things as a known person is to be able to shine light in spaces that aren't always getting that attention.
Sure.
And that was a really wonderful partnership that I enjoyed because I also was introduced to brands that I didn't know existed, and it helps give that space. I know during the uprising here in Los Angeles, there was a lot of focus on Black-owned brands, and then where does that attention go? And you want to continue keeping that attention there. And one of the things I always say to people that is a misconception in industry in general is because it is made by a Black person doesn't mean it's only for Black people.
Right.
It's very confusing. It's a very it's a weird mix-up that people make. Like Black people can make great products for everything.
But
Right.
it's interesting because
Oh, preach, yes.
Yes.
but I don't think you would think that about anybody else. Right?
No, I don't think you would, but this is something that comes up.
Right.
So here's a roadblock that I think was very interesting. One of the things that happens in search engines, right? So we're a mobile-first brand, which most brands are these days, right? That's the main way. You don't necessarily do commercials. You're not going to take out big ads in magazines and things of that nature. So your connection to people is coming through social media. And then also through Google searches, or if you have a retail partner, through the search when they go on that retail partner. Well, what are the words? What are the key words that help people to find you? And doing research and getting data on that is incredibly eye-opening. And one of the big mistakes that a lot of retailers make is they will put your brand in the Black-owned brand dropdown.
Right.
But if you're looking for hydration for your hair, it's not going to pop up there. Makes no sense. So these are some of the things that as a CEO and an active participant in my business, that I'm very active in all of those pieces and having those conversations, and then having the ability to search and find the data to really support what are the right words. Where should we be in a search engine? How does that match up, especially with Amazon? There's all of these different things, and there's a different way to have to think about business now because of the internet.
Sure. Earlier this week, on Thursday, we held a reception here at the BMO Stadium for Latino leaders to celebrate the top 200 of the largest Latino-owned businesses. And it was a source of pride to see how many Latino-owned entrepreneurs were here in LA. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that current environment looks like today? Are we seeing an increase in the pipeline of diverse businesses in this current economy?
I think we absolutely are. And yesterday, actually at City Hall, we concluded Latino Heritage Month. I think that the Latino business sector is thriving all over the city. And I actually, right before here, was in East LA. Univision, the TV station, was doing a session for Latino entrepreneurs, and there were easily 1,000 people there. So I think that's a thriving sector of our economy. And you know, one of the things that I was so excited about during my campaign is that I met so many young Black entrepreneurs. I'd go in a room, there'd be 100 people there, and not one person had an employer, because they were all employers themselves.
Word. So why are you not on Instagram? Make it make sense, Mayor.
And as I listened to the type of businesses they were in, they were all tech related in one way or another, social media driven, and they were all young. I would say the overwhelming majority was under 40. And so for me, that was very hopeful in terms of the next generation, that people are not saying, I mean, and it's fine, obviously you want a good job, you want a good career, but it's also wonderful to see people saying that my career is going to be about developing my business, and they were doing very well. So I'm very hopeful.
That's great. Tracee, can you talk to us a little bit about maybe some advice that you would have for someone that's about to start following their dreams and their passion for launching a business?
I said a little bit of it. I think the understanding how to process a no and having an accountability for yourself around what that means and how to make sense of that and how to use it as fuel to move forward is incredibly important, because inevitably you're going to meet no's. So as I said, take that no in, feel the disappointment, and then ask yourself the question, do you agree with that information? If you do not, then move on. If you do, what is it about that no that you agree with? Did you not articulate your vision properly or in a way that was effective? Or was there something that you needed to do more research on and understand more about what you want to share? I think that's incredibly important. The language that you use and your ability to give an elevator pitch, to clearly and concisely express what it is that you want to offer is incredibly important. I don't think you can get anywhere if you don't have that. That no matter what somebody asks you, you know how to articulate what it is you want to do. I think the other piece is develop a network and a tribe around you that can actually support you in your vision. None of us does anything alone. And particularly in business, you need a community. And so if it's seeking out people that are steps ahead of you or people that are on a similar path to you so that you can actually bounce ideas off of and understand the environment that you're in and process it with people that can be safe for you. The other is do the work and do the research. Figure out what the market is for what it is you want to do. What else is out there? Are there other businesses that are similar? What are you offering that's different? How is it that you want to do something that's different? I think innovation for innovation's sake is garbage. Innovation for the sake of being effective is important. I also think, oh God, why? Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Tracee.
This is like my new thing. I say it out loud because it's easier for me to process it. But I'm going through perimenopause, y'all, and the ideas, they leave me fast. And my idea left. I have a thing.
Oh no.
One thing, it was right there. I was like, they're clapping. No, the idea's going.
Oh no. She's like, it's coming back.
Nose, articulate the vision, team around you. God, it was so good.
It'll come back to you.
Innovation, it'll come back. It'll come back. It's terrible. You go up to the filing cabinet in your mind that had the idea, and you get up there and there's a little man up there like this. And I'm like, he's like, I don't know. Please. And
We love you, Tracee. It was so good.
I am confident that it's going to come back.
I really hope so, because it was going to change everybody's life.
As I think about amazing entrepreneurs like you, Tracee, one of the true benefits that you offer as small business owners is that you're offering job creation and creating a workforce development that is so critical to the vibrancy of Los Angeles. Mayor Bass, can you talk to us a little about where we're at in terms of employment here in LA and why our small businesses are fueling that job growth for you right now?
Well, I think, in terms of employment overall, the economy is doing well. But obviously we have sectors of our city that are not, and that are not able to seek employment. And sometimes it's not because there's not the jobs, but there are barriers to seeking employment. And just like there are barriers to seeking housing, it might be a credit check. A credit check can impact your ability to get a job too. If you have any involvement with the justice system, your education. So those are specific barriers, even in the face of jobs. So I think within Los Angeles, it's looking at how we address those barriers too. Trying to promote with employers to give people a chance, give people a second chance, and invite them to hire folks. At the city, we have thousands of vacancies. What our problem is there is the bureaucracy about getting a job with the city. It might take you 7 or 8 months. By then you say, well, hey, they're not gonna hire me, and I've just moved on. Sometimes a barrier is transportation. You don't live where the jobs are. So we have to address all of those barriers, because in our city, as you all know, as soon as you leave here, you will see tents everywhere. 46,000 people asleep on our streets. We have got to solve this problem before the world comes here in 2026.
Okay. It's not cute. It is not cute.
I do want you to have some good news, because the viewpoint had been, the stereotype, the myth,
We need a
was
house,
that
girl.
those people on the street were there because they wanted to be there. They're strung out on drugs, they have mental illness, and they don't want to come inside. That's a lie. That is not
Okay,
true.
BS.
No one
Tell
wants
them.
to live like that.
Nobody.
So we've been able to
Skid Row is
get
not
people
cute.
out of those tents every single day. There was a, when you see a group of tents, you should know that that's a community. There might be 15, 20 people there. So I was sharing with Tracee earlier that we cleared out a big group of tents over a whole block near Virgil Middle School near Hollywood. Do you know there were 112 people in those tents who today are housed in motels?
Motels. What motel? Hotel 6? Might as well be in the tent.
Heartbreaking reality in our world and in this city. It's been a heartbreaking reality.
Oh, by the way, I meant to mention something. Thousands of those people, by the way, are employed. They are employed.
Now they were employed when they were unhoused.
They are employed in those tents. There was a family, a mother and 3 teenagers near Century and Western called us up and said, I have a job. I work every day. I just don't have first and last month's rent. My credit is
Exactly,
bad.
the bullshit,
I
the
was
bullshit,
evicted.
the bullshit, the
The
bullshit.
fastest growing sector
The
of
bullshit.
the unhoused population.
Why is the rent
are people in
extravagant?
their 60s and 70s.
Okay,
Who
your
worked in the
friends.
service industry their lives. They
Right.
never had a pension. They never had a
401k,
and Social
nothing.
Security,
Thank you,
even if they had
America.
to pay for anything.
Thank you, America. Thank you, America.
That is unacceptable.
Yeah,
to
hell yeah.
the second largest
Yeah.
city.
And my father is a veteran.
Thank you for addressing the unhoused with such dignity and grace, and for what you're doing.
You can say homeless, girl. We homeless out here. It's okay.
I'm going to echo that
I did
sentiment.
not think of my thought.
So Tracee, so my daughter is here somewhere. I'm not sure where she's at.
What's her name?
There she is. That's my daughter, Bradley.
Hi, Bradley.
She just graduated from Spelman College.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Was she just when I was there? Yes.
Did you give the
I didn't give the keynote, but I got an honorary doctorate, and I had a few minutes to speak.
Yes, Tracee. Yes, Tracee.
I wanted to point out my daughter, Bradley, not only because I love her with all my heart, but because she popped into my head when you were having that moment, and I heard her voice say, "Dad, don't touch that." Quickly pivot. But I'm going to help us bring us to a close because I've really enjoyed this discussion. And I'd like to first just give the mayor an opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the plans that are underway for the World Cup and the Olympics that are going to be here in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. Well, we are very excited about that. By the way, tomorrow I'm going to Washington, D.C. with a delegation of city council members. And we're going back there to talk about the Olympics, to meet in the White House with the administration, because with the Olympics coming to town, we expect lots of help from the federal government.
Okay. Go get that money, girl.
Coming to transport people. You know, we will have our people connector developed at the airport. Our transportation systems will really be up and running in a big way. And then again, the whole procurement process is being developed. There is some people that believe that these opportunities are already tied up, and you should know that they're not. So there'll be opportunities there for you. And then figuring out the venues. So most of the athletes will be at UCLA, but there will be venues all over the region, not just the city of Los Angeles.
That's great. I'm going to have some closing remarks, and I'd love for you to, again, just share some more knowledge with us or any parting words that you may have.
Well, I just want to say that I feel like a thriving community is based on people feeling seen. That's also what creates the fertile ground for new business and small business. People feeling like they have the space to be courageous, to trust in what they know and who they are, and what they feel they can give back to the world. And I feel like a thriving economy and thriving businesses come from people that feel good about themselves. And so my parting words would be that if you have an idea, if you have a thought, give yourself the space and the time to be courageous about leaning into it. Do dream big, but then do the work to find out what it means to make that turn into something. Social media makes life feel like you just snap and it comes. It's not true. Pattern took me 10 years to get it off the ground. We've been on the shelves for 4 years now. As I said, I have larger mission than just selling things. I remembered my idea. If it's not,
Don't clap.
It is not easy. Thank you. It is not easy to have a lucrative business that also has purpose. And I believe that setting out to do something to make money is not the answer. Setting out to do something to be of service and to deliver on a promise is what will create a thriving world and a thriving economy.
Yes, Tracee! Woo! Tracee! Tracee! You did it, girl! Yeah, Tracee!
Was that not inspiring? It's all about purpose. And I am so inspired to know that your purpose here today is to share that wisdom and knowledge with our guests. And I'm going to let Mayor Bass share a little bit about purpose and her leadership role and close us out with your final remarks.
Well, first of all, aren't we glad she remembered that?
Okay! Yes! Yes, girl!
That was a profound drop the mic moment.
Okay?
Well, let me just say that the thought I want to leave you with is really building on from Tracee. This is a hopeful time in our city. It really is. I mean, we are Los Angeles and we can make anything happen. Sometimes, especially as we go into campaign season, you know, the crazy presidential campaign we're all going to experience, sometimes people want to paint a picture as though everything is falling apart and going to hell in a handbasket. Don't believe it. Because we can make this happen here. We can get our folks off the street. We can build
Yes,
a thriving
honey.
economy. We can make room for you to realize your dreams.
Really?
We have to stay focused. And the downside of social media, too, is that it can be so distracting and can send you down a rat hole.
Yeah.
But don't go there. Just understand and remember who we are, that we can make this happen. My purpose is and I felt that we were at a crossroads in our city, and I didn't want to see us go down a punitive road that said, we're tired of these people, let's just get rid of them. No, these people are our brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles.
Okay, they belong in this city.
And it's incumbent upon all of us, don't just look to politicians to do this, all of us have to have skin in the game, and when we approach our problems and challenges that way, we will be victorious. Thank you.
Yes, Jaya!
Please join me in thanking Mayor Karen Bass.
You better work! Yes! 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 Her.